Okay. Check all the systems. Remember what happened last time? Ooh, a Kazi mode. Very nice, Lucky. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you for the 100 biddies. Thank you, thank you. Music B, going good, going good. Okay. Let's do it. Let's wake up. Sit. Blah, 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 blah. Let's do it. I'm feeling good. I'm not feeling rested, but I'm feeling good. Ugh. Turns out hosting people isn't free on energy or executive function, especially when you're driving like an hour and a half to drop them off home, then get back. Least you can do with all the stuff you messaged me on Facebook. Okay, look, some of the stuff you sent me is like fire though. I only wish that there was I could figure out a way to like link it properly in mediums outside of Facebook Messenger itself, but like, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Anyway. Hey there, heroes! My name is Hero Girl. I'm your friendly local neighborhood hero tuber, and I'm also a professional idea haver. Today is March 8th, 2026. Damn. We're already halfway through March. My birthday's in just a couple of weeks. Scratch that. It's in less than 2 weeks. April 1st. I'm going to plan something special. Something where I can like just chill out all day and do a thing. Wednesday's going to be an easy one. That's a bagel day. I divide our days into bagel days and sandwich days and then weekends. Because like Mondays and Wednesdays, those are bagel days. Those are days where we're just having a nice light breakfast, cream cheese on it, and like, you know, we're not trying to calorie max or anything like that. Ellen, thank you so much for the lurk reading. Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday though, that's breakfast sandwich day. That's when I go all out. I go ahead and I toast some burger buns or maybe some croissants, maybe some nice bread. I toast up some hash browns in the oven, fry some bacon, get an egg, nice and fried, break that yolk, stack it all together with some cheese, nice good American melty cheese, and then you just take a big bite out of it. It's fantastic. Savory, it's crunchy, it's delicious. It's good stuff. Better than, you know, any breakfast sandwich you'll get from McDonald's. I promise you that. This is on Fridays, where we go even further beyond. We swap out the bacon for a frozen sausage round. You know, good old sausage patty. And we're frying the eggs and all the bacon and meat fat too. So that helps out. Just a delicious time. And then on weekends, I'm trying to like get into the habit of, you know, maybe I'll make pancakes, maybe I'll make French toast. Usually though, breakfast burrito is a good way to go. So, you know, some of these days take a little bit more effort than others. You know, sausage gravy days on Sunday, and I definitely put in a lot of effort into making my sausage gravy. But on Monday and Wednesday, when we talk about bagel day, that's easy. In fact, it's actually kind of mandatory. If there's anything I learned from our trip over to Alberta, it's that I can't eat a huge meal every day. I need some time to just like taper off on the calories. I need to have like something light in between everything. So when we get to my birthday, I'm gonna wake up, and even though it's my birthday, I'm still gonna have a nice lightly toasted bagel with some cream cheese smeared over it, and that's gonna be at least till lunch. Oh, and then I have to plan like what I'm gonna do for like my lunch break. I don't know. That one's going to be a little interesting. I have to figure out what I'm going to do for that. I can go ahead and take a lunch break, but I'll need to set up something to play while we're doing lunch. Yeah, I'm sure I can come up with a schedule for it. Alright, folks. So, as I mentioned before, we were entertaining yesterday and the day before that, so I did not do any streaming. And as such, we have dailies to take care of. And oh, hey, would you look at that? Cast red spells, kill opponent's creatures. You know what that means. We're gonna play. despite my initial objections, I did in fact put in exactly one turtle card. But it's the turtle card that that's basically a weaker version of cards that we already have in the deck. Just adds a little bit of redundancy. Bloomer Belle of the Woods. This might have targets for it. The Blood Moon actually doesn't even do all that much. But having the Burning Hands helps out. The Wild Slash is okay. Yeah, we can make this. Go Mountain, Tapped Land, Flothis, removal, maybe removal. Probably save that for later. And if the Blood Moon becomes relevant, sure. Burgeoning. Sure, they get another land drop. I honestly feel like Burgeoning is just like explore. I guess if you get in your opening hand, it's fine, but like there's just so much down drop wise. Yeah, like you're really only including Burgeoning because you're high rolling exactly how good it's going to be in your opening hand. It's not even like an Explore, because Explore gives you at least 2 land drops each turn, which is great for when you have stuff in your graveyard you want to recycle. You know what? Sure. We'll go ahead and leave it extra. Yeah, and I guess they go ahead and they get their Loomer out. Okay. Like, they got 2 land drops off Burgeoning. That's good. That's really good for them. That's definitely above average. I guess there are plenty of cards that where you really only want them because of how good they're going to be early game. And, like, I guess that's fine. I just don't think decks like Loomer really that. Like, they have so many options. What? Imscure Iron Eater. The affinity for artifacts. Energy draw cards. Lose X life, or X is half the number of artifacts you control rounded down. Attack an artifact. Imscure deals damage. Puts mana target to any targets. This one's gonna make like a ton of treasures, right? Ton of treasures, ton of small creatures. Opponent gets to go first. But I'll go ahead and hold on to this Dinnercone Smite. Hopefully that... Ooh, okay. Fetch lands, fetch lands, fetch land. How likely is it that they're going to be playing a Blood Moon? They might. They might actually play a Blood Moon. So if that ends up being the case, I'll definitely want to grab a force with this. Now? Feels like it's probably going to be... Weapons manufacturing from Edge of Eternities. Whenever a non-token artifact you control enters, make a colorless actions. Leaves 2 damage to any. Not a lot in terms of creatures so far. Hoping that changes. Rakdos Signet. The munitions when it play deals. Okay, so are they literally just like only gonna go in on here? Because like I guess that's fine, but not ideal. Like, yeah, they can go ahead and drop this guy. Not ideal because we have like just so much small creature. Guess I'll see what they do after they cast. Yeah, okay, they don't have anything for us. Go find like a game where we're actually gonna find creature hunt. I was really hoping that they would have like a ton of affinity type creatures that like they would want to play a lot of small utility artifacts, but I guess it is just like better to play ones that don't get hit by removal if you're going to do something like an affinity commander. Makes perfect sense. Like, you know. This might be a really awkward hand. Only 1 mountain. We have an Abrade. We have a Cast into the Fire. I'll keep it. Having Cryptic Case be our third land is not ideal. They're playing with Redshift. Redshift can go infinite with exactly... Aggravated Assault, I want to say. The activated ability one. Bold strategy to just, like... drop your Redshift out there all naked, buddy. Alright, we have the Carplucent Forest out. Am I dropping Visaggio? Ooh, they missed a land drop. Did not have anything. Remember, this creature deals combat damage to a player who draw a card. Okay, they did find one. Don't have any. So let's go. All right, now we've got Repercussions out, so we have our win condition. Yep, Redshift is back. That's neat. This is 4 damage. We kick it up to 5. I mean, it's just one creature, but... Really? Nothing? Nada? I guess I could always crack this Field of Ruins to, like, make sure I get more red swords. I might do that. Yeah, let's go ahead and... pop this Field of Ruins. This will also give me just, like, my graveyard in case I need to ramp later. I'll probably even just, like... I can theoretically cast the Perilous Iteration now. I guess there's no real reason. Well, I'm still going to discard. I mean... I'm cool with just chilling. I really want to see them drop more creatures. I guess that's just, like, not happening. You know what? I'll go ahead and take the mana in this one, just so we can go ahead and drop a Chandra.
I know who I am, and no one is telling. Let's get toast.
Well, even if they don't provide us with a lot of creatures, at least we get... Oh, there's the Gilded Goose that we want. There's the silly Goosey. Yeah, go ahead and hit the Goose. Ooh, Royal Treatment's pretty cool. Play with fire? I mean, we trade 2 for 2. That's fine. I'm not in danger of losing out of cards right now.
Aw, looks like someone's getting a little sweaty.
It's me! I'm getting sweaty! Yep, they can go ahead, eat the food. That's fine. Them lasting longer means more opportunities to, like, just burn more creatures. What was it that Bud said at the very start of Kill Bill 2? You may think that this is me at my most sadistic, but this is actually me at my most masochistic.
Is it just me, or is it getting a little warm in here?
I don't know if that's entirely true, but like, come on, no creature. No creature. Oh, meow. I mean, I guess we got 2 shots on shift. That's something. Alright. Come on, Arena. Come on. Give us a good old-fashioned creature matchup. Let us bully. I want to bully. Notably, you know, I wouldn't be incentivized into play patterns if there wasn't a kill X creatures daily. You know what I mean? Really, I'm just playing the game exactly as it is. Although on that note, they're doing the midweek brawl matchup. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and skip out on this one. Catcher Mose is a matchup where we can actually like shoot down a creature. So they're doing the midweek brawl, and normally I love the midweek brawl. It has a theme of, hey, go ahead and pick a commander from the latest set, and then just like, you know, build a deck with them. I think that's great. I love that event. But because right now the latest set is the turtle set, I don't want to do it. And it gave me a reason to pause and think. When was the last time that I started really playing with any of the new cards? Maybe with one of the Lone Eclipse commanders. This is gonna be one where we can actually shoot a bunch of creatures. The question is just gonna be whether or not we get a chance. Keep Colossus out, because green-black can actually deal with Colossus quite easily. See, that's Dark Confidant. We're definitely going to want to drop Colossus next and then go into Blood Moon. They grab a Shock Land. That's going to be really... But it doesn't really matter if they just like have Colossus out, you know? We're dropping Colossus first because we need the green. And as soon as we get a chance to untap, this is going to be their one window to get a basic before we get Blood Moon out. Notably, each player loses life equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. So as long as we eat the creature cards, like, it just does not matter. Also, they can just, like, keep making all the little bugs they want. Oh, that's bad. That's really bad, actually. If they're just gonna entomb into... Oh, no. The Haywire Might. Yeah, they've got Haywire Might. Well... If we hit like one more land, it's fine. We don't care too much. There is something to be said about... This is 3 damage to each creature. 3 damage to target creature. Damage to each creature. I need to guarantee hit another land in order to make that work, though. We want to make sure that they can't just like get me. So I'm probably just gonna have to go. Here's a Blood Moon, just to keep them from like getting me. And then what? We have to deal with Grist next. This deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. So I need to Conductive Current, get the Seer, that puts it at the 6. Yep. Go ahead. Get more guys. I need to use Conductive Current. Well, that's not Conductive Current, but it kind of works. It's 2 damage, 4. Hey. Oh, well, now they've hit a basic forest. Yep. And make their buggos. Oh, that's a bird of paradise. Yeah, we gotta get rid of that. Still using Sear, so that's gonna be 6 damage on Grist. I would like to shock Grist. Oh, that's a beast within. That's something, I guess. Yep. And then I can actually manhole. But let's get rid of that bird of paradise before it has a chance to untap. We'll use that to cycle away the beast within. Basically cycle away any card until we can find a way to draw our one of forest. Okay, yep, that's a discard. Discard a card, search for any card. Yep, that grabs troll, that grabs their basic land. Oh, that's so good for them. Untap another target permanent. How do I feel about that? Let's... Goal is always to, like, just... Three damage. 3 damage. Put back the green card we can't. That's a 5-drop. At least we're getting to, like, actually kill stuff. That's a plus. And, like, hey, you know what? Good on opponent for including plenty of cards that actually, like, will let them fight through the Blood Moon. That's really important. Oh, they have the Noxious Revival. Yeah, if we had clocked this out, we'd be winning the actual game. Then we just have to settle for getting our bounty. Yep. I fought the Grist and the Grist won. I fought the Grist and the Grist won. It should have been easy, but they wired might. And now we scoop it up cause we drew the light. So it goes. It gave us a good amount of Q-Chip kills. Can't be too raw about that. Maybe you can say something to the effect of, like, should have been a little bit more patient with the Blood Moon, considering that we only have the one basic forest. That's probably about right. Not a whole lot to do about that. I can only hope that we get another one. Another good creature deck to play against. Actually, how often have I actually beaten a Grist deck? Grist is one of those decks that I don't think is, like, problematically hard or anything like that. But because Grist is just so well positioned as a control commander, it ends up causing me problems because it's like, oh, okay, I need to deal with... Okay, nope, we're getting out of here. This is Golos. Anyway, as I was saying, Grist is, like, really well positioned to deal with a lot of things that would, you know, threaten it. I.e., it can make a bunch of blockers. If you get, like, any sort of creatures down, they're murdering those creatures in time for Grist to get down and then be like a murder issue itself. So you just always have a kill spell in the command zone, kind of. This is... Okay, this is Reanimation Terra. This is better than Alesha Terra. Remember, Terra deals combat damage to a player. You can pay 2. When you do, return target creature power 3. or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tap. That is the like very easy to break version of that. How much toughness does she have? She's a 3/3. It doesn't lose to a Thoughtseize. Not an ideal start, but as long as we hit like our third land on time, we're fine. They have a lot of sorcery speed stuff, so if they focus on getting Terra haste, that could be an issue. Okay, now we got 2 instants. I'm gonna be losing this this volcanic spike quite a bit. Ah, perfect, perfect. That's what. Go ahead, grab our red. Lothus is online. They're in Mardu. They're gonna have a super easy time dealing with Lothus, I would have to imagine. Removal. That's a lot of removal. Alright. Naked Terra. That's fine by me. It's probably the Giver, I think. That would be the one that causes me the most problems. Now it's just a question of, like, which one do we put out? Is it Chandra? It might be Chandra. They are currently
I'm the best fire starter there is.
tapped out. Chandra also gives them something to, like, have to spend removal on. Your Recruiter's probably next. Yeah. They have to have a way to exile Clothis. And they have to have... Oh, yeah, they could... I forgot that they can just, like, pay the man to get the creature back, so now they can play Recruiter, get, like, a, I don't know, not a Solitude's not gonna help. Maybe a Voice of Victory? Creature Supplier. Sure. So they're not playing Recruiter this turn. What's the play here? Hydrate, thank you so much for the Hydrate redeem, Fron. Cindercone Smite. Which one creature is the most problematic? Probably the Sadbot? Probably Sad. You don't have to Chandra here. The Citrus Supplier is like a real card eventually.
This will be easy.
Think. I was the starting player, so Cindercone Smite. I don't really want to have to like fill up the graveyard more than have to. Like, they're not going to be able to just like keep paying life when Clothis is on board. So unless they hit something that specifically with her, fine. They can use Stitcher Supplier to hit Chandra, I guess. Maybe the Recruiter grabs like a Johnny. I could see that happening. Johnny would be a pain to deal with. What would be like the worst case for me? Bean Hunter effects. Diaclave Apparition would absolutely do it. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah. You got Clothis, champ. That is absolutely one of the cards that gets around having a planeswalk or having Clothis around. Oh, and they're gonna get rid of Chandra. Okay.
It's over when I say it's over.
Well, with that being the case, I am gonna go ahead and Volcanic Spite this Apparition. Put back what, the Smite? Let's put back the Smite. Magic Missile. Nope. Nope. We're just gonna take the one. Ah, got there anyway. Excellent. Yeah. Guess it doesn't really do much if you grab non-basics at this point. If they have a way to reanimate that Skyclave apparition, now I'm feeling really bad about burning it. Fatal Push, Selfless Spirit. Selfless Spirit kind of does something. But they're also... Okay, yeah. Selfless Spirit, don't care about that. Herbor gives us perfect mana. Priest of Fell Rites is kind of... means that they can just, like, get back anything that they want. But as long as we eat that apparition next, we don't care. Also, I'm pretty sure I can just... Ooh, they got... Put God Eternal of Ketra. Was put into exile from the battlefield. That is actually a really good question. Wait, hold on. Where did she go? Did she... Oh, wait. Did she get put back into the... Oh, there she is. Okay. So whenever she dies or is put into the exile from the battlefield, put her back. Okay. Meanwhile, this thing says, return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield, activate only as a sorcery with an unearth of 5. I can't get rid of that and the apparition. The apparition is what gets rid of Plotha, so I have to prioritize that. Which means that they are just going to get an opportunity to, like, get this priest back. I could, like, just go straight to their face. Like, 6 and 6. But I want to kill more stuff before I do that. Yeah, so let's go 1 damage to each. See, pay 3 life, sack this creature. Activate only as a sorcery. Then... See, this should theoretically take it off the table from them getting a catcher back. Because, oh, yeah, if they go ahead and they spend 3 life to get Priest of Fell Rites back and to get a Ketra, well, then they're just going to die to Clothis. That should theoretically tie up all their mana. Or at least their life total. And it does. Yeah, okay. Interesting that they decided to put a Ketra in there. Ketra's a good one, but I haven't seen her in Brawl for a long time. Oh, we had a good goal on Mastery Ladder. Yep, that cleared out everything but the kill opponent's creatures. Okay. Well, the good news is we don't have to get it all one day. And, like, if we can just go ahead and kill stuff without having to, like, worry about the color count, we can go ahead and try some other stuff. I've been wanting to try out the No Rares Atraxa deck again for a while. I've been tuning it a little bit. The general line of thinking is that Atraxa is just such an absurd card that you can actually make a deck full of commons and uncommons and still do just fine. I don't think that this is going to be a good deck, but we can at least give it a try. It was, God, like, what, 3 years ago now at this point? Yeah, it would have had to have been, like, 3, almost 4 years ago now. When Amy built this deck on a try, put up the video, I was like, oh, actually, you know what? This is a great idea. Making commander decks that don't need rares aside from the commander is a really good way to help, like, lower the barrier to helping people get into the format. And then Amy did, like, maybe 2 more and said, actually, people don't like watching... There aren't enough people watching these videos, so, like, I've got better things to do. Which, like, hey, you know what? Fair enough. You gotta do what pays the bills. But I always thought that that was just like a shame. Yep, there's Ragavan, Nimble Pilfer. So... the Ragavan is just going to have free reign over us. There's not a lot we can do about that. You can drop this Scrap Gorger, and the Scrap Gorger probably gets bolted. Hold on, were we on the play? No, we were not on the play, so yeah, Ragavan gets a free shot at us. That's fine. I could honestly see offering the Bristly Bandit here as like just a potential trade partner. Alright. So that's a Blood Moon. And like we have Island, but kind of the reality of playing a 4-color deck, especially on a budget, is that cards like Blood Moon are just gonna fucking destroy you. Maybe if that basic land had been a forest, we would have been fine. Actually, no, if that if that basic land was a forest, we would have been fine. And if I'd been thinking about it, I would have mulliganed to just try and find that basic forest. Okay. We're up against Tymna and Thrasios. Good old dual commanders. Same colors as we. But we're missing some really important work. Chores the Plowshares can help out. Calc, we can cycle that away. Ornithopter helps. We can try and make this work. You can even try and go with, like, holding up the miscalc just to, like, tempo out of Thrasios, maybe. I don't know that we get to do that, though. Yeah, especially not with a Landware Elf out. Try and set ourselves up for success. Yep, there's Thrasios, one of the greatest mana sinks of all time. Brainstorm. Feeling about. Don't have to lock ourselves if we find... Okay. Can put 2 cards back. I can play the Gulch this turn. Hold up a miscalc. And then we've got Binding the Old Gods coming up. Put back the Necromancy. Let's put back Brain Maggot, I think. And then I can also just like play the planes, get rid of Thrasios. The Thrasios is kind of like... I don't know that it actually like beats Atraxa long term, because it takes so much mana to get going. But I do think that this is how we keep them from like playing something really huge and scary that beats us down. Okay. Now I'll go ahead and try and hit Thrasios. This will force him to either commit the mana now or try and counter it. At which point I can use the miscalc to just force him to tap out and give us a chance to map the frontier. Okay, yeah, they are going to go ahead and just... Again, an Arcane Signet, that's... Okay, that's what we... Because now... Do I Brain Maggot now? No, I think I just want to make sure that we have all of our colors. We already have green and white. We can go Archway for 1. And then we want to make sure that at least one of these is black. So where's our blue? Yeah. Blue Black Desert. We play white on the next turn. Alright, shield's down, but we're pretty good. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we had like one more, we could play Atraxa with miscalc backup. And this is one of those things that I'm going to need to be figuring out with the deck. Whether we can afford to play soft permission like this late game, or if we just want to swap that out for narrow but harder permission, you know? At least now I can go Brain Maggot, Miscalc back up, and also Binding the Old Gods for anything that they drop. Yep, they're gonna go Arcane Signet. They could hold Counter Magic for Atraxa. Yep, they're gonna go Swords for the Thopter. That's fair. Let's see. So then... yeah, let's go... right, here's Brain Maggot. Okay, so they've got Temporal Mastery, Shoulder Time Warp, the One Ring, so they got just like double Time Warps forever. You hate seeing that. That's 5 mana right now, 6 with the Land War. Do they have... they have another land with the with Fell the Profane. Do I care about Sholdred? Probably not. It might just be... grab the One Ring then? Grab the One Ring, we can hit Signet, but I want to hold Binding of the Old Gods to deal with Sholdred, perhaps? Yeah, I think that's about right. Now they can kill the Brain Maggot to get back the One Ring, but they don't want to. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Still back at that 8 mana spot. This is what you get, folks. This is what you get when you try and play like multiple colors. You just get to play all of the single best cards, and you're trying to outvalue your opponent on a card-by-card basis. Okay, so they're gonna go for Timna. Oh, right. Yeah, okay. That does let them just, like, get a draw if the Land War Elf hits. Otherwise, they can trade with the Maggots. How do I feel about that? This is a miscalc situation, so that way they just have to tap out for it. Maybe. If I play Atraxa, Fell the Profane is still right there. They got to let the Timna go. The Land War's going to attack in. They get to draw. And that's why they're playing it. Because they just get a Phyrexian Arena on a stick in the command zone forever. Okay, so they are going to go ahead and use... okay, then. So... how do we want to do this? Do I want to go Binding by holding up Cultivate? I can do both, right? I can not do... alright, so Sholdred is still alive. I'm not tapping out for Cultivate yet. Would there... what flashcards would they play? Shinton? Probably not. And that's why we didn't tap out. Okay, so now they can go ahead, they can Time Warp, they can Manipulation, they can get really far ahead. And then they're not going to. They'll take their redraw. Let's see if we get to resolve Atraxa. Get to put any of these into play. What do we... white, maybe? Alright, let's see how good the draw is. Choose up to 4. So we get to grab a land. Land do we want? Landscape. Creature. Any creature? Mother Runes is a really good one. Won't be able to play her this turn, which kind of sucks. Oh wait, no, hold on. Wall of Blossoms would be a... there's an enchantment for Fenrir. And then... the draw 4. Ah, okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and... I mean, we can just replay Atraxa again on the next turn. Yep, they go ahead. They kill her. We have so much mana that we can just like start hard forcing her through. Yeah, we'll go ahead and deny. Yeah, they have enough to go ahead and just like time warp as well. Yeah, we'll take the tune there. Now they just like get the draw again. There's kind of no reason to just like not time warp again right here, yeah. So they have 4 unknown cards, 5 after this. We're just never giving them the 1 ring. Go ahead. Yes, they have Hall of the Storm Giants to beat our face in. Yep. BGB control gain Death Touch. We just jamming. Probably just like they can counter her here again next turn. They get ahead, they surveil. Memory Deluge. Ooh, they're not countering her outright. They're trying to like find an answer. Okay, so they do have just like the straight up wash away. Sure, sure. You can still cast her again on the next turn. The always play your Mother of Runes. There's Oasis, and I'm just gonna go ahead and crack this now. Grab another forest. Feels like it's another forest. Well, they had to dig pretty deep to find an answer for Atraxa, and we get to just like keep jamming her. So maybe having all that ramp isn't such a bad idea. Because the ramp does mean that we just get to keep... Now we have the Fenrir. I might need to play the Boggart just so they can stop. Okay, here goes Mom. Means that they didn't want me being able to untap. Gracias is another way that they can just get their engine going. I can play the Boggart, and the Boggart actually trades pretty nicely. This is everything but like 1 mana? Let's Boggart, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and Boggart. They're like really choked on mana right now. They have like 3 available. Okay, yeah, they go ahead, they counter. Let's always cultivate here. Spell Pierce. Yeah, I'll go ahead and pay the 2 there. Blue, black. Put the blue into play. And then, is it Fenrir time? It could be Fenrir time. You can also just like play the Wildling. The Wildling blocks really good. Yeah, I think the Wildling actually just like ups up our mana more efficiently. We didn't get a chance to take out the Memory Deluge, unfortunately. Hey, we're playing a lot of Magic. Still a little worried about them just like flashing back that gosh danged Memory Deluge. Yep, there we go. Look at the top X card of your library where X is the mana spent to cast it. So because it costs more to flash it back, they're going to get to dig deeper. The good news being that we just like ramped so hard. Atraxa is not going to have any issue with this. They can't even like try and like get in with Cecil. Tidus is going to be too mana intensive. Like that could be their whole turn. This is the position that you ideally want to be in with Atraxa. So let's see if that works. Shared roots. Yep. Oh, they get to counter her and untap. That's pretty good for them. That means that Thrasios can go ahead and do his thing. Yep, we're still trading just 1 for 1. And then we can actually start beating in, right? Yeah, we can just like start beating in with this bird. Make sure that they have like an actual clock. It wouldn't surprise me if they have like just a Wrath card that they can pump out. Paying 13 mana for this bitch, and she's still worth it. Yep, Shouldred's a really good one. It might mean that we actually have to get really saucy with punching in with both of our dragons. Give each of your combat main phase it. Okay. Well, we're not gonna not. Like, they have to use counter magic on something. Oh, they're gonna Graven Lore. Yep, that gives him 6 life. Command zone. Wow, okay. Well, they finally got their shoulder down. How many counter spells did they burn through? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, and they finally got their 1 ring back. Now they have shouldered and the 1 ring. Now I have to hit exactly binds us under to get rid of that. And that sucked. There's the Psych Rift, yeah. We were doing alright, but that is just... Oh, they went with Memory. That is a massive life... Oh, right, because it fucking kills us with shoulder. Okay, fair enough, GG. Disappointing, but what can you do? Opponent has a lot of really, really good dig to find the exact specific card that they need. You know, we're up against a Tali. So this is a 7 that we can hold on to. This lets us go Tommy, drop planes, do Found Adventure to find our island. An island that will also be our swamp, just to help bridge the gap. And then hopefully it tracks us better than anything that they have. Opponent getting to start with a Gemstone Caverns is huge for them. I would love to see... No. This is a Scry 3. So, like I said, we're going to go ahead and grab our Ice Tunnel, just that way we have all of our colors available. Now we can go ahead. Invasion of Pyrula here. Oh, they are really struggling. They need to have a mana dork out. I want to get this going. Reveal the top card. If it's a land or a double face card, draw a card. I'm going to take... Okay, this is not what I wanted. But it's not bad either. Grimwood Falls, reveal it, draw it, play it, draw into the north. I think that's what we're doing. We'll see if I was supposed to unable to screen the Scrap Gorger, or if I'm going to end up holding this for a Tali after the fact. They did have their third land anyway, so that's a boon in our favor. Go ahead, eat that. Don't care. Food chain! Exile creature control, add any mana. So they're just going to go ahead, get that, get the 3. Oh, now they just have food chain combo? Oh, that is dirty, 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 dirty. Yep, they can go ahead and get infinite mana. Not. They've got 4 mana now. And we'll go ahead and bonk battle. I forgot that food chain was in the format now. Oh, you're picking it up? You're picking it up because I blew up your food chain? Damn shame. I guess they are struggling with mana a bit, though. They only cast Squee from exile. Yeah. So that ended up working out in our favor. Now we can go land into the north, hold up either Mana Leak or Gate. Slowly inch our way up to 7. What do you think? One more? Yeah, let's get one more in. Playing competitive Magic, I think, has been good for remembering exactly what to expect for some of these games. I don't think there's ever going to be a time in my life where I don't get a little upsetty about my spaghetti. I don't have any blue for Narsa aside from the Paradise Druid. We can probably make this work because we have the Disruptive Stormblood. Oh, whoops, never mind. I thought we were going to have more turns than that. I thought we were on the play, actually. If I noticed that we were on the draw, yep. That's egg on my face. So like, you know, Emery's gonna be a Paradox deck. They are gonna have some amount of counter magic, but not like a massive amount. Mostly Emery's gonna be getting them a ton of value. And any attempts that we're gonna have to just like remove her is gonna be more focused on like trying to slow her down than anything else. Like right here, we are just gonna go ahead and shoot her. And that'll slow her down for a turn. I have this Spell Pierce. Doesn't do a whole lot. They will just be able to play enough artifacts that they can just always play Emery for 1 mana. But we had to survive long enough to get to the late game to get Atraxa in and just start punching through. Maybe if we can find our Trawler, we can do some things. Out of the Wilds or Paradise Druid, it really just depends. I could crack this landscape for a Plains and play the Druid. Ooh, repurposing Bay. That's basically a birthing pod for artifacts. So like that can chain any of these into a 1-drop, any of these into a 3-drop, which would be like what? Simulacrum Synthesizer. Not ideal. And they have a sculpting steel down there too, which means that they can copy the synthesizer. We're gonna be turbo fucked here in a second. Which means that we need to make sure that we have invasion down for next turn. So yeah, go ahead. Play the druid. Play tunnel. We have mana available. I'll have to play the landscape as a land so that way we can spell pierce and protect the invasion. That's assuming that they don't just win on the spot. Those synthesizers are going to get fucking huge if that's what they end up going for. I know I would. Purposing Bay. No, they went for the Power Stone. That leads me to think that we might actually be seeing Paradox Engine coming down sooner rather than later. Witch's Oven. They don't have cat combo. Enigma pays for activated abilities. They can still just like keep cracking baubles. The bauble actually helps get around Narset. I might need to drop Narset to slow them down, but I think it's actually just better just to start turboing with the invasion. I need to think about how I feel about Settle the Wilds. I might need to replace that. Thought Distortion is interesting. That might be what sets us apart here. Yeah, let's go ahead. We'll invasion now. We can get this resolved. We can use the Thoughts Distortion and next turn. And as long as they haven't just like completely popped off, we're fine. We're safe. Go ahead and grab a white source for sure. What else do we need? More blue? Yeah, let's grab more blue. No attacks past turn. They've got 4, 5, 6. Man, I guess the Power Stone also just like loops into itself. Alright, this is the moment of truth. Yep, they get to play Island. They can grab 4 mana. 4 mana would be like the One Ring. And then they can just cast Sculpting Steel and copy the One Ring. And then they have protection from Thought Distortion. I can play Narset to fight the One Ring. We're racing, and I am not positive that we are in a position to catch up entirely. But that depends entirely on what's in their hand. Because if they grab the Wishing Well, then they were missing something. Okay, so they're sacrificing the Wishing Well. They grab something that costs 2? What are they grabbing that costs 2? It's not just going to be... It's boots, so that way they don't have to worry about losing Emery to removal. That's fine. Not my favorite thing, but sure. Means that they might need a little bit more time to set up. If they go Paradox Engine now, Retrofitter Foundry, that's pretty good. Yep, that's a bobble. That's bobble to redraw. That's fine. Alright, there's the planes that they saw already. I can still go Thought Distortion. They're tapped out. They lose Sculpting Steel if they do that. I get to see what's in their hand. What is it? As long as they have this Repurposing Bay, it's a problem. Is this the time for Thought Distortion? Or can we afford to go into Narset? This would be, what, 2 mana make a servo? 2 mana make a servo, that's something they can absolutely do. If they Spell Pierce and it's like 1 mana Spell Pierce... I think I'm going Thought Distortion now. I think I need to make sure that they're living out of their deck and that they haven't just been sandbagging something. And it does still get rid of a sculpting seal, so that way they still have to work a little bit harder. Alright, so what was it? It was a Scour for Scrap and a Miscast. Maybe, and potentially a counterspell as well. Okay, yeah, they go ahead and they make a servo that can trade with the Paradise Druid. Whoops. My bad. Alright. So they get at least 2 cards on their turn. They can still just go into the One Ring. Oh no, they're gonna sacrifice Emery. Get more food. Like, that's a thing that they can do. Because Emery, there's just no reason for them not to, I guess. And it mills out. There's that synthesizer. There's the goddamn synthesizer. Yep. Yep, that's gonna be... I'm just gonna concede now for overtime, and I want to go... And, like, they have the Aetherizer, and the Aether Flux, and the synthesizer in the graveyard. We're still missing a ton of, like, graveyard hate. They can get whichever one they want. Probably the synthesizer. I can't react to it. That's still a GG. We blasted longer than we had any right. Also, I think there's no way to say definitively, right? There's no way to say definitively that this is why it is. Things are the way that they are. But it does lend some amount of credence to the fact that what the developers about Arena have been saying is absolutely, like, you know, gonna be true for the most part. That is to say, Brawl's casual queue is weighed very, very heavily on the commander. And what you have in your deck is significantly less important than the commander itself. So, like, don't start trying to, like, pull random shit out of your deck just because you keep getting mashed up against, you know, the quote hell queue commanders. Because that's just variance. That is just variance. Atraxa was, like, really absurdly popular when she originally came out. And she is an absurdly powerful card, too. I should probably look at more tools to help her be uncounterable so she can actually hit the board. More budget options for that, I think. Not just the hand attack, but maybe I start looking at Destiny Weaver again. But, like, your commander choice is going to dictate what your matchmaking looks like more often than not. That is just the truth of the matter. Alright. We gotta do Moogle chores. We want to do Moogle chores. We want to make sure that we're doing PvP. I also need to make sure that we finish up last week's Wondrous Tales. We can cash in. And I'm going to wait until after I've picked up the quest to queue into PvP. Actually, hold on. Today's Thursday, isn't it? Okay. Hold off on the PvP. Go ahead. Take care of the Moogle chores, because the Moogle chores are going to do what chores do. And we still have a wait. I don't like having 3 different things that we have to work on, but the weekly Wondrous Tales is just... It should be just a... It's chill. Let's see. We're gathering materials for the restoration of the walls surrounding the plaza grounds. Okay, yep. Okay, deep weeds. See how we reach the transport of fabrics, which are soon to be completed. Definitely started with oppose you, but you might go investigate the cause of the delay on the fabrics. You'll be able to find Mogmenders overseeing production of these baskets near Sawmill. As you might recall, today is, or rather was, to be the day we began restoration of the Foundation. So, like, these are... It's interesting. Well, not really interesting. It's just, like... It's subverting my expectation of what exactly we were going to be doing with regards to the Moogle chores. I loved doing the Ocado 9. You had to actually do some much more involved crafting, and you could even use that as a way to help level your crafters, or at least that's what I did. But the Moogles aren't like that at all, are they? It's really more like every other society, except now there's like a step where you have to craft a thing real quick. Can't go high quality, doesn't add any XP. Kind of makes me sad in a way. I was hoping for a little bit better. We still have Ishgardian Restoration, thank God, but you know. Now we're just still running around. We're running around, and if we get in trouble while I'm currently in crafting mode, that's gonna be a free teleport for me, chap. Also, chat, can I just say that I really missed you yesterday? Not because, like, I was thinking, oh, I want to stream so bad, but I'm entertaining. No, nothing like that. But more in the, oh boy, I just dropped my friend off at their home, and now I have a 42-minute drive all the way back home. And unfortunately, the energy drink I chugged to keep myself awake may or may not be adding static to my vision right now. Okay, time to keep ourselves lucid and pretend that chat is here and available to talk with. That's right, we had a whole conversation with chat without chat. Now, obviously, this doesn't mean that, like, I don't need chat. Like, I love you, chat. You and me, we're buds. We hang out, we're good. But it was a reminder that, you know, maybe, just maybe, one of us might need the other more than we thought. Or at the very least, like, you know, we can approximate the simulation of each other's presence and then use that to keep ourselves awake long enough to get home and crash on the couch. Wasn't as bad as that time that I drove. Oh god, was it 7 hours? Yeah, close to like 5 or 7 hours back from Rochester down to Ohio. That was a wild time. That was a time where I legitimately thought I was going to potentially fall asleep at the wheel and then do the big crash. I asked my friend a few questions that I regret asking in an effort to just stay alive and think of the most absurd, interesting things that I could, you know, ask a man. Hey, Levy. Alright, Moogles. What up with them baskets? Let's see. I'm only one basket away from filling Mogek's order. Well, maybe two, but that's only because I'm unable to gather the necessary materials. See, I need Sanchini shoots, but it takes quick hands and incredible precision to pluck them. Please, would you grab 3? Yeah, I bet you've been working your paws to the bones, you little... I'm gonna be mad, actually. I've decided that I'm gonna be really mad if one of these things ends up having me go combat while I'm currently in full blacksmith attire. What did we talk about? I mean, we were just talking about the about Happy Gilmore too, the Adam Sandler movie, sequel to the Adam Sandler movie, sequel to the classic '90s Adam Sandler movie. I assure you, it was an incredibly riveting discussion. You really had to be there. Although it leads to an interesting question that I didn't have a chance to actually properly extrapolate upon. And that is to say, chat, is soup a drink? Like, if someone asks you if you can have any drink in the world, any drink whatsoever, is asking for a soup a viable option? Do I have to, like... Yeah, let's just... So, like, the argument goes something like this, right? It starts with, hey, you know what? Hey, Sam, thanks for stopping by. Question, is soup a drink? I.e., if someone says that you can have any drink in the whole world, and you say soup, is that a valid answer? This whole thing came about because, you know, you're watching Northern Lion clips, as you do. And he says, hey, if you can have any drink in the whole world, and you say water, you might just be one of the most performative fucks on the planet. Which I heavily disagree. But it does, of course, beg the question, like, what exactly constitutes a drink if you're asking about, like, what kind of drinks you could have? Sure, I don't see why not. Well, you could say not, because, like, what if it's, like, a really chunky soup? And it involves a lot of, like, chewing, right? Like, I know soups aren't really supposed to be solid, but if you have a chunky soup, like a chunky potato soup, or maybe, like, a broccoli cheddar soup with a ton of vegetables in it, like, is that enough to disqualify it as a drink? Or does that make it closer to, like, say, a baba tea? You have... Depends on the ratio of liquid to things. All right, so then what's the ratio on, like, a baba tea? Because I have to imagine that if boba tea can be described as a drink pretty universally, like no dispute whatsoever, like that's the kind of comparable level that we're working with. But then boba tea is a drink, but it's mostly liquid. Okay, so then, like, how do you explain, say, slushies, right? Slushies where it's mostly ice, and you can be like, sure, yeah, it melts down into a liquid, but that's actually, like, less desirable than it just being an ice thing for the majority of the thing. Like, it's not, like, you know, full-on popsicle ice, but it is not necessarily a liquid. Like, by the point that it gets into a liquid state, you're actually being like, ah, my slushie's ruined, you know? See what our little scavengers managed to dig up. Excellent. Much more than I hope to receive on such short notice. Dude, look at this. Metal bars are unparalleled quality. Imagine a bowl, but put a bunch of tapioca balls in it and then just a little bit of milk. That's not a drink. They need to be swimming there, which means cereal could be a drink depending on how the person prefers it. That's what I'm saying, though. You wouldn't say milk is a drink. Or at least, like, most people that I know wouldn't be saying milk is a drink. Like, they would actually look at you crazy and be like, you're defeating the entire spirit of the question. Like, there's being pedantic about what constitutes a drink, and then there's just deliberately being obtuse. I drink milk. I don't bite the milk. Yeah, but, like, what about the cereal bits, right? Because if you're saying cereal is a drink, you're including the cereal bits. And, you know, most people, they're not going to be slurping up the cereal because they don't want their cereal being soggy. That's why Captain Crunch had a whole campaign about it. So, like, you see the dilemma here, chat. Also, that is Moogles for the day. We'll get the next level of Moogles next week. Oh, wait, hold on. What the fuck? Oh my god. It actually clears off all of the quest markers for you if you go into a Disciple of the Hand. Or a Disciple of the Land. That's... hold on. Legendary mineral deposit? Oh. Show me. Show me this legendary deposit. Sam likes the milk when he gets soggy. Okay, hey, you know what? Absolutely no shade. If that's how you like your milk, that's how you like your milk. But you also have to admit that that is definitely not the usual. At the very least, like, you know, you have to be specific about what kind of cereal it is that you like soggy and what it is that, about being soggy that makes you like it. Ooh, lymphrite ore. And Orm Regis. Okay. Help. It's been a long ass time since I just like randomly found a legendary ore node. Alright, what are these get used then? The Regis ingot get used for the round table. Radio, some accessories, and the Gym Master's gown, which is like crafting. Okay, so functionally no. What about the high mithrite ingot? Oh, you get used for all of the trial weapons and the level 4 aquarium? Thank you. Oh, this is okay. This is the valuable one. Yeah, the loom mithrite ore is the valuable one. Holy shit. Paladin arms? High mithrite cuirass? Actually, hold on. Save that. Right on. Right on. Yo? Yo? Okay, maybe like remove the helmet actually. Here's the visor. Yo, that actually looks sick. Hold on. Enable dye preview. What if we put it into like a pearly white? The pearl white is like the my dye of choice. Comes with Thamora's armor. Yo, that's pretty slick. I like that. The Diabolos miniature. Yeah, all the magic. Anything in leatherworking? Clothcraft? Alchemy? Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so yeah, we want lots of loom. Gotcha. Okay. Go back to Ideal Shard because we still need to finish off good crystals. Ah. Need 50s and 60. Oh, what am I pushing? Ah. Go with the very flex long stop. Not the very flex long stop. Hard one. Oh, and then that's right. That's right. Remember that you have only a limited amount of space and for any armor going to come at the cost. Two more weeks, chat. 2 more weeks and it's birthday time. 2 more weeks, and not only is it birthday time, I get to spend the day doing birthday stuff. What birthday stuff? I have no idea. Doing like a birthday stream. That's kind of a tall order. I wanted to do the I was perfectly fine with doing the V Chronicle collab that weekend. But that weekend, Fran's gonna be gone. Actually, that Friday, I'm not gonna be streaming because Fran's gonna be gone. I'm just gonna be having dinner with my extended family, I guess. Not even like a birthday dinner, just like a, you know, hey, go ahead and just like get together and have dinner. I am also like updating my throne. That way, like if people want to buy me a little birthday something, they can. And like it has to. They'll think like the front bought me all 3 Final Fantasy 13 like unprompted. You have to be careful with that. You have to be very careful with that. Because Final Fantasy VIII is giving me pause. Like, I am, of course, very happy and appreciative of the fact that Fran is the kind of friend who will get me Final Fantasy 13 because he knows I want to play Final Fantasy 13. But also, the whole Square Enix launcher thing to actually play the game rather than just, like, being a game that I can install and then play directly has me concerned about trying to play Final Fantasy 13. What I'm gonna do, almost certainly, is 13 is gonna be played in the living room. It's gonna be played in the living room, so that way my wife can join me. It's just kind of everything that we've heard about 13. It feels like the kind of game that she's going to enjoy watching with us. Which, you know, means that there's not going to be a 13 stream. But it's all about the experience. I'll get plenty of Final Fantasy. But I have a strong feeling that by the time that we start Stormblood back up, I'm gonna be feeling like pretty set to go for a while. Because what? All we have to do is just like finish up some personal stuff in Heaven's Ward. We'll be good to go ahead and start Stormblood. Stormblood is going to have an approximate million things that we can do and take care of. Because not only is there, you know, actual factual Eureka, which is going to take a while, there's going to be, you know, maybe, something I really want to do is I want to see if we can get an actual raid group together to do the Omega raids. I want to see some of the most popular raid fights in Final Fantasy XIV history, up close and personal. I've gone ahead and I've cleared that raid story like plenty of times. I know what it's about, I know all what's in it, but I've never actually made the time or effort to try my hand at it properly. Every time that I've tried doing minimum island level content, it's been... Oh, hey, line! Hey! Another line bites the dust. Doom, doom, doom. Another line bites the dust. And another one's done, and another one's done. Another one bites the dust. Hey, put a line through you too. Another one bites the dust. Do, do. Which one? There we go, Sawmill. After this, I'm officially out of second chance points. So, if we do Wondrous Tales, I'm thinking I might have to dedicate some amount of daily grinding to just doing a roulette that gives me a chance to get more second chance points. Or even trying my hand at maybe just opt into an alliance raid if they're on there. There'll be a little bit, for sure. You can do the Moogle chores and then we can just like go queue into the alliance raid. It'll take something off of our Wondrous Tales and then also give us a second chance point, we might have to start doing that. Because we want to make sure that we are always on top of Wondrous Tales, first and foremost, well, with its homes and its XP and all that. Then we must needs set ourselves up for success. I do think it's funny that the somehow hard version of the dungeon has you running backwards. Also, like, that's the other thing too, right? Once we get to Stormblood, that's the point where we can't just like brute force things solo anymore. We're gonna have to actually spend some time like trying to do things properly. If we want to do like any of the level 70 high-end dungeons or anything like that, we're gonna have to actually queue into them, because we just do not have the ability to solo them. Ron would probably have the ability to solo them because he's been getting level 100 gear for his level 100 warrior. I'm not. Sometimes it's some, sometimes it's all. Sometimes it's some all. I think that's... Oh, wait, no. Did I just go the wrong way? No? Okay. No, we're fine. I think about Heaven's Ward and how I've been playing it so far. And at first I was a little disappointed, like I was panicking when Fran and I got to the end of Dragon's Hunt, and I was like, but I haven't finished everything yet. There's still so much to do. And I'm kind of realizing, oh, but what all was there to do in the first place? Because while Heaven's Ward is definitely an improvement on Realm Reborn in some regards, in others, the two kind of go almost hand in hand in terms of like what there is to do. Like, sure, the Garo gear goes up to level 60, right? And I did that explicitly so that way I wouldn't have to spend as much time gearing. Like, I could just jump into any of the job quests and have the level 60 gear that would be able to carry me through the job quest. And yes, I'm gearing now, but I'm doing so very lackadaisically with myself. I'm already building myself towards Stormblood. When we get to Stormblood, I'm not gonna have to do a ton of catch-up work, at least as far as leveling goes, because we're doing dailies, because we're doing, you know, just natural leveling. Oh, give me like 1 sec to get this Viper combo off. There we go. Like, okay, so let's run through what the idea, generally speaking, is. I'm gonna get all of these classes up to at least 71, because 71 is gonna be the minimum to run everything through Baja. We've talked about this, we've established this, that's fine. The actual gearing that takes place in Stormblood, we kind of can't avoid that, like, at all. We're gonna need to get Skaven gear for our stuff, just so that way we can, you know, go into Baja fine. But I think Baja also has, like, I need to double check. I need to double check to see exactly what Baja's scaling does. I sincerely doubt I'm going to be able to get through with just the Shire gear, though. We're probably going to want to go in with at least Skaven gear, and then we're set. But it does mean that I'm focused less on levels and more on gear in Stormblood. I don't know that we're gonna like go all in on Eureka gear for all the classes. We definitely shouldn't need to do that. I think the tomestones are gonna be just fine. We're gonna need tomestones for years and years to come. But at the very least, it means that through Stormblood, I'm not really worried about it, because I'm already working on that now. So then it's just like the quest, right? It's Stormblood gets unlocked, all of the Stormblood job quests get unlocked. But here's the thing. the job quests that we're going to be doing, that's the last expansion that they actually just like have job quests. It's going to be role quests after this. And the role quests I'm planning on doing with Fraud. So everything gets leveled up. Everything gets to have proper level 70 gear eventually, sure. And then just chill, just relax. As long as we're maintaining at least one role quest each. That's the other thing too. I don't need to level the other jobs to do the role quest. I'm already leveling all of these jobs for my role quests. I'm already leveling Paladin and Astro and Red Mage and all that. So like, after a point, once Baja is unlocked and all the DPS jobs are at 71, like, I don't have to keep up with them. I don't have to keep up with them at all between expansions. I don't have that hanging over my shoulder. And I'm pretty sure that the gathering and crafting jobs are going to be similar, right? Like, it's not going to be, oh, you know, you have to keep up with your culinarian quest. It's going to be, there's probably just a singular crafting line, so that way they don't have to write something for every single one. And then same with the gathering. So that takes a lot of cognitive load. And since I no longer have to worry about that, the only thing I'm really trying to do is all the side content, which, again, most of it I'm doing with Fran. Most of it I'm doing with Fran on stream. Because we're going to be doing Eureka on... Let's see. We're doing all the trials on screen. We're doing all the raids on screen, including the Alliance raids. Labyrinth of the Ancients, Scythe, Alexander, Deep Dungeons. If we weren't spending most of our time trying to get through the rest of this, I could do us into one of these. You know what? Let's do it. Go ahead and do into, say... You know what? Actually, hold on. We should be able to do this slightly differently, right? Like if I go into Alliance Raid, and I say, queue me up for Dune Scythe, and also Labyrinth of the Ancients. Yeah, that works. That works. Check. Labyrinth of the Ancients, Dune Scythe. Average wait time 16 minutes. We'll have to talk about that some other day then. Here's a quote from Sam. When I saw normal level 52 gear was better than one from the Poetics, and then the same from normal level 62 gear in Stormblade, I just stopped going to specific gear. The one the game gives you is enough to complete the MSQ and just spend all the Poetics and gear of that expansion. Anything else is glam. I understand why they implemented role quests, but kind of makes sad not to have more lore for the old jobs. Yeah, I get it too. But here's the thing, right? The story more or less wraps up. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and withdraw from these, by the way. I'm just gonna burn the take a chance point to clear one of those trials. So the story wraps up in Stormblood, and then in Shadowbringers, once you clear the MSQ for Shadowbringers, like you know, the expansion 3, 4, 5. Yeah, once you clear 5.0 of Shadowbringer, there we go. Wanted to make sure you get a capstone yellow quest, right? You get a capstone yellow quest for the job stories. Like they get one, even though they do the role quest, they get one last hurrah in a side bit where your adventures in Shadowbringers help wrap things up. You get that one happy ending that lets you go and they lived happily ever after. So like, you know, it's at least something. It's at least a goodbye that makes you understand that no, it's okay. You know, they really are happy. You can leave them alone and go off and do other things now. And I think that in that sense, it's okay to just, you know, be done with the job quest. Especially since you don't even get your abilities from the job quest anymore. It is all just level up. In fact, the only thing that you really get from the Stormblood job quest is the capstone job. Like if you're a paladin, you won't get your paladin wingies until you do the level 70 quest for that. Kind of the same with, I believe, Red Mage. All right, chat. This time for sure, I am not going to heckin'. Ooh, that's bad. That's bad. All right. Well, first things first. I'm gonna switch over to Black Mage because last week I went to turn in my Wondrous Tales and I accidentally turned it in on Viper instead of Black Mage. Which, hey, you know what? At least the experience wasn't wasted. But, oh boy, did I not enjoy that. Like, great, Viper's level 81 now. That's, that wasn't something that I needed, but it was the reality of the situation. We're just gonna go turn in all the extra stuff so that way we can have a clear inventory, so that way Chloe doesn't get upsetty with us. Once we get, it feels like everything just gets so much simpler once we get to Shadowbringers, which is a weird position to be in when you're playing a character who was made explicitly to go back and enjoy the older stuff. It's definitely a sense of like, oh, hey, you know what? I wanted to enjoy the older stuff. I sure did get my fill of the older stuff. Also, how about that older stuff, huh? You ready to go back and do some of the new stuff yet? Weird. I don't remember getting that. Huh? Oh, there we go. Thunderbolt. It went straight into my armor just because my armor is full. But I want them for the clusters, chat. Give me so many clusters. Like a non-incidental amount of clusters. Look at how many clusters I have now. 354, 413, 520, 324, 377, 618. I was farming a fair amount going to the node up in Mordona. Get those regularly. But now that I have the Wondrous Tales and I just descent all that extra stuff that they give me, like I am flush with clusters. I feel so happy about it. Once we get the Stormblood, what extra content is there? It's just finish the job quests, gear up, finish the job quests. It's do my yellows, do the society quests, and then just like whatever I'm working on right now, which is basically the same. Like I guess, yeah, that's true. There'll be custom deliveries there too. Oh wait, hold on. I was supposed to take that off, wasn't I? Yeah. Okay. Hand over the journal. Get. What am I on? Tombstones? 131. Okay. Almost forgot to hit shield. One more Wondrous Tales and Black Mages. Or even like a PvP. Give a new journal. And we can go ahead and spend today just like clearing some of these off too. Front lines! You love to see that. Oh, we've got Nidhogg on here too now. Leveling. Yeah. Back into the Wondrous Tale mines for me. Actually, what alliance raids did we get? We got World of Darkness, Dune Scythe. Yeah, World of Darkness and Dune Scythe. Those are the two. Let's see. Custom deliveries are always going to be a thing. There are so many of those that we're going to be doing those, like, I don't want to say non-stop, but that just kind of is like the reality of the situations that we're going to be doing them non-stop. Call me Alexander Hamilton with the way that we're going non-stop on these. And see, this is why we do the grind on stream. Because anything that you're just like dreaming of the end of is probably something that you shouldn't be dedicating your limited amount of free time to. Oh, I got slowed by that's why. But also like actually, so I was talking about the differences between like Heaven's Ward and A Realm Reborn. I'm kind of thinking now, I haven't felt as much wonder and awe in Heaven's Ward as I did with A Realm Reborn. And that has definitely been interesting. It's been interesting from the fact that like normally like that was the whole reason that I fell in love with A Realm Reborn again, right? Is that I fell in love with the awe and wonder. But now that I'm playing through Heaven's Ward feels like it just feels so much emptier than A Realm Reborn does. That is so weird. The fact that the Realm Reborn content actually felt more like classic MMO stuff than the critically acclaimed expansion that came later. Hold on solo at 70, cap at 70 with White Mage is doable, but takes so long. Yeah, I believe that. Oh my god, we were so close. We were so close to getting through on a first trip for that. No. Alright. But now I gotta clear out the nails regardless. I wonder, actually, are all the expansions gonna feel like that? I'm having that moment. I'm having a Denji moment. Like from Chainsaw Man, where he's kind of realizing that the thing that he wanted didn't turn out anything like he had hoped it would. And now he's trying to second guessing about whether or not it was actually the thing that he wanted in the first place. Except without the Makima just kind of casually, you know, telling him, no, it'll be okay, because you'll just think about this other thing instead. And the other thing actually just ends up being her. And it ends up kind of like reinforcing the, well, would you rather, you know, think about the girl who fucking puked in your mouth? Or would you rather think about, you know, the girl who gave you a lollipop afterward? Yeah, it's exactly as disgusting as it's. Except in my case, it's more like, you know, is Stormblood and Shadowbringers actually gonna feel like this too, where I'm just like completely missing the awe and majesty of the areas because I'm not having to like get to know them on an incidental level because I'm trying to grind all of this extra stuff up. The longing and the yearning is a good motivation for a while. Yeah, it sure is. Go back into the... Back into Striking Tree. Hey, Beardy, we're back. At some point, one needs to be happy with what one has. I mean, yeah, you're right. But it's definitely, like, changing my perspective on what the Thamora project means and what I'm going to be getting out of it. It definitely means that there's going to be a little less panic, given that I'm just actually factually not ever going to be able to recreate what I got through A Realm Reborn. Which is interesting in its own right. Like, I have already learned long ago to be happy with what Final Fantasy gives me. I kind of had, like, my own self-directed grand adventure in Realm Reborn. Now, everything past this is just kind of going to turn into, well, we're going to be doing this because this is what the game is telling us to do, as opposed to this is the freedom and whimsy of just someone playing a game for its own sake. Or maybe that theme still is there, but I need to find it in other aspects. Like maybe fishing becomes the thing that helps us remember what that is. Because remember, a lot of that freedom and whimsy did come from us interacting with the systems that we wouldn't normally doing. Doing the yellows, doing the job quests and stuff like that. That's actually par for the course. The whimsy comes from doing all the other stuff. It comes from decorating your house, doing G poses, taking the time to just relax and fish. Not the greatest, I think. Know what I missed from ARR? IDK if anyone else said this, but more loading screens. More loading screens. Now there's an idea. There's an idea. In a weird way, I think I understand what you mean. Because if you think about it, Gridania wasn't just like one area. The areas that we have with Ishgard, it actually feels a lot smaller than just Base of Realm Reborn. Because with Base of Realm Reborn, you had 3 city-states, and each city-state had like 4 or 5 different areas. So like, you can walk through 3 areas and still be in Ul'dah, which is crazy compared to Heavensward, where, you know, the maps might be bigger. The maps might be bigger, but you don't really feel like you're traveling as far. But that little bit of loading screen actually just, it does add something, I think. No, I think you're right about that, Sam. I think the necessity of the loading screens, given that that was a PS4 limitation, makes it just a little bit odder. But nope, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Like when I was playing A Realm Reborn, it was actually really fun to just walk and ride my mount through all the different zones to get to where I needed. But I get in Sea of Clouds or Mogholm or anything like that, it's easier and just more convenient to fly in a way that I'm doing because it's not as fun to traverse those as it was with A Realm Reborn. God damn it. Trying, chat. I'm trying to like figure out how to speedrun this. But they just not cooperating today. The Dravonian Forlands should be like at least 2 areas, one for Chocobo Forest and one for Dragon's area. Honestly, if they had chosen to do something like that, that would have been amazing. But Ishgard, being its own area, only has so many areas that they can put in. And they only have so many things that they can work on between expansions. And it's unfortunately that little push and give that you always have to be understanding of, even if it's not quite what you would have enjoyed, but it is what it is. Alright, that's like 4 different trials. You can do a leveling roulette for those dungeons. You can pop the paladins on. I am unfortunately... You know what, chat? I may actually just need to spend some time doing some miscellaneous. Like, this is getting ridiculous. I have too much shit here. Like, okay. Go ahead, pop the weapon coffers. Look at all this shit. Look at all this shit. I might actually need to put some of my projects on hold just so we can get rid of all this. I've got paints, I've got materials, I've got scrolls. The scrolls are going to be a big one. So how's that for like a daily grind? We're going to get on and we're going to be like, okay, today's the day that we actually just grind out all of these scrolls that I've collected for Heaven's Ward. We're going to go into the adventure. We're going to figure out exactly what we need. And then... we're just going to go and do that. Now that's just going to be the day's adventure. It's kind of the same philosophy that I've been trying to take with doing pretty much anything during my normal workday. The materials, just sell them for Gil. I mean, yeah. But like, I like my materia collection. Look at all this materia. Look how pretty it is. I know it's only going to get worse as we get into the next expansion and get even more material to work with, but it's so pretty. Oh, that's right. I've still got like all these gold sacks too. Got so much stuff that I need to figure out. Alright, folks. It is that time, unfortunately, where we need to go ahead and wrap up. But don't head on out just yet. We like to pass on the love here. If you know anyone that's cool, anyone that, like, you know, maybe they're trans, maybe they're playing Final Fantasy or Magic or something like that, go ahead and redeem that Lead the Raid. Let's see. But since we don't have anyone redeeming it right now, let's see if there's anyone that we want to hit up. Arrows in fire. There is currently getting started and getting ready to do some Xenoblade Chronicle. They always drop everyone off on like bigger thing. What do we want? What do we want to do? You know what? Go ahead and raid into Kit since she's doing the Coil Savage stuff. Yeah, she's doing the Coil Savage stuff, so we'll go ahead and raid into that. And then tomorrow is going to be Final Fantasy Friday, per usual. Which means that we're going to be playing Magic on Arena with some of the Final Fantasy commanders to pump everyone up. And then before we go back into doing some actual Final Fantasy VIII stuff, we're going to go get those brothers GF. There's a GF that I am missing out on, and I do not want to do that, so we're going to go grab that. Let me go ahead and turn off the alarm. That confirms that everything is done finite for now. So guys, we'll go ahead and catch you all tomorrow. Same hero time, same hero channel. Later!